Hi everyone. Yes, look where we're at. We're back in the craft room. So I'm excited to share a couple of things that I want to make for my summer front porch. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to break this up into a couple of parts, maybe part one, part two. I don't think there'll be a part three, but I'm excited about decorating my front porch. I've got some new items coming in. I've got some items that I'm going to redo here and see if I can't bring this summer porch together. So what I want to do to start out, I have these items and I have the tier tray from Hobby Lobby, and I think it's a little bit too dark, so I have some ivory chalk paint, and I'm going to paint that. And then I would like to make a wreath and also a messy bow for a lantern for my front porch, and the wreath is going to be for my door for my summer front porch. So let's go ahead and get started with this. I will put the link below of all of the items that you're seeing here today in the description box below, and if they're not available, I will try to look and find something similar in case you would like to make this wreath or this messy bow for this lantern. All of these little bee items that's in this little bucket is going on the tier tray after I get it painted. Some of those were made and most of those were gifts. Now this tier tray will not go on my front porch, but it is part of my bee theme for this summer. Come along with me as I make and create some of this stuff, and excited to share it with you. So come along, let's get started. Before I put my tier tray together, I want to go ahead and give these little wooden trays, I don't want them stark white, so I've got an ivory, and I'm going to go ahead and just lightly go over them. A little bit of the brown may show in on these, but that's okay. If I need to sand them off a little just to distress them a little more, but they're just so dark. I feel like things don't show up very good. So I'm going to go ahead and give these a light coat, and then later on I will decorate this tray with the items that I showed you in the bee theme. On this next DIY, I want to make a messy bow for this lantern. And I'm going to use some of this ribbon that I had got for the wreath, but I'm going to use a little bit of it to make a messy bow for the top of my lantern, and this is going to be placed on my front porch. Guys, I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. Sometimes I just think that I'm probably not getting that information out there correctly for you. I'm taking 3 different ribbons, and I'm going to cut 3 of each. What I'm doing is I'm measuring to see how long the ribbon from the top is going to hang down the lantern, and that's my center point. So it looks like this is going to be about 15 inches. So I will cut 3 each of these polka dots, 3 of the bee and 3 of the other polka dot, the burlap. And I will put those all together and tie it to the top of the lantern, and then I will shape it. The next ribbon is going to be cut 2 inches shorter, so it's going to be cut at 13 inches, and then the next ribbon will be cut even 2 to 3 inches, your choice if you're doing this, but 2 to 3 inches shorter with each ribbon, and that way it gives some dimension when you spread this ribbon out. Now normally you could tie this messy bow, shake it out, but these are wired edges, so I will have to shape them. Don't forget to dovetail the end of your ribbons. This bee ribbon and the little black polka dot, it is just so adorable. I just fell in love with this. I got it from Crafter's Outlet. I got it last year. I thought I was going to do this project and I didn't get to it. So now that things have maybe calmed down just a little bit, I'm still don't have everything where I want it to be, but it is getting there. So I'm really enjoying getting back to crafting. Okay guys, we've got our 3 sets of ribbons, and I'm just going to start gathering these, and then I can then take a chenille stem, wrap it around, tie it to the top of the lantern, and then fluff my bow. And then if I have anything that I want to add to it, and you'll see the little bee right there that I have on my workstation, that is going to be glued to this messy bow on my lantern for my summer porch. Making sure that I'm placing my messy bow on the front of my lantern. That's the way that it will sit on the table on my front porch. And guys, I just love this ribbon. I believe it's still available on, it's actually craftoutlet.com. They run some sales, and this stuff is just absolutely adorable. The little metal bee that I'm gluing on here actually came from Hobby Lobby last year, and I had it on something different and I took that apart. Guys, my next DIY, a lot of people think it's really complicated, and I thought the very same thing, but once you do one of these, it is so easy that you don't even need to watch anybody do them anymore. You can make it any way, any particular way you want. I don't quite have enough yellow chenille stems, and I don't know where my other packet is. I know that I do have some black ones, but I'm going to go ahead and pull out some green ones, which will be okay because those are going to be hidden in the middle. So I'll use the green ones for the center. I'm going to use 4 and just placing them, north, east, south, and west on the wreath. And you're taking 2 of the little wires and you're taking 1 chenille stem, wrapping it around 2 of the wires on the wreath, and just twisting a couple of times. You don't want to twist too tight or too hard. These will break, but a couple of twists, and so that they're not moving. And then with the yellow ones, you're also going to put a yellow one in between each one of the green ones, using 2 of the wires on the wreath. And then with your other 4, you're going to place them in between the 2 yellow ones. And you'll see here how I place those. But you can do this any way you want. If you want more ties on it, you can actually purchase these wreaths with the ties already on it if you want. This is just one of the small wire wreaths from the Dollar Tree. But I want you to watch and see by using this mesh ribbon, and I have 2 two ribbons, one in a black and white stripe and one in a black, white, and yellow stripe. And these are 10 inches. And you're going to see how big and how fluffy that it makes this wreath, because this is, I believe it's a 12-inch. It's either a 10 or 12-inch. Maybe it's a 14-inch. I'm not sure, whatever Dollar Tree sells. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue to place these chenille stems around. Some people call them pipe cleaners. And I'm placing them in between the green ones. And then I will go back and place the others in between the yellow ones on the same two wires, on the outer wires. I have placed a link below if you're interested in this mesh ribbon. I am using my cutting board as my ruler because it's got a ruler on the bottom. You probably can't see the numbers, but I have gathered the first bunch and adding it to the first chenille stem and just twisting that tight. Then from the edge of that, I'm going to go, I think I did 12 inches. So from that chenille stem on my cutting board, I measured 12 inches, and I'm gathering it again and going to place that on the next chenille stem. And I'm going to do this all the way around until I get to that same chenille stem, and I'm going to end in the very first one I started with. Now guys, you can fluff it as you go, or you can fluff it later. I sort of like the way it's laying out here. Now I'm on the last one, but I'm going to meet at the very first one I started with. So this one is actually going to have two bunches in it. And now I need to go to the green ones on the inside. So with this one, we're still going to, I thought I was going to do the whole 12, but I'm pretty sure that I just measured 10. No, changed my mind. 12, continue with the 12, even on the inside. And this time, you're going to sort of lap up and over, and you're going to go over to that first green chenille stem and tie this bunch down. So you're sort of going the opposite way, and it's a little bit awkward with this first one. I'll show you what I do here in a minute. I actually will take this whole row and run it down and under so that I can work on the inside. But it's however you feel comfortable doing it. But to measure out your 12 inches, so I'm going to pick this up, run it through, and then I can still measure my 12 inches for my next one. And you're going to do the same thing on the inside, ending with your last bunch in the first green chenille stem on the inside. After going all the way around on all 4 of your inside chenille stems, you're going to put your last one on, and you're just going to cut it not too close to your chenille stem. Cut it probably an inch or two away. You can always take a little bit of extra of that and tuck it. But look how fluffy this is. I really didn't have to do anything to this wreath at all. So now it's time to put the yellow, black, and white ribbon on, and I'm just so excited to share this with you. There's actually two ways you can put this ribbon on. It could be in little rolls, and I'll show and do one. But, you know, I would probably do extra rolls if I was going to do the rolls and do them in 10-inch. But I decided to do these in 12-inch cuts. You can see me measuring here. So 12 inches, and I will need 8 of these because I'm just going to do the outside. I don't feel that I need to put all this ribbon on the inside, and then I'm going to cover over with a metal bee that's, I don't know, that thing is like 10 or 12 inches in diameter. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all 8 of these. Guys, if you would have a bigger workspace for this, it would be so much easier because I'm having to move some things and what little bit of workspace I have here on my workstation. But I'm going to show you here that you can take and make rolls, and you would just make a roll, pinch it, and put it on the chenille stem. And you could put as many rolls on each chenille stem as you wanted, make it as full. But I'm actually going to gather mine, and just in the middle, just going to walk it up like an accordion, gather it together, pinch the center, and then put it on the yellow chenille stem and twist it a couple of times. Now, we don't trim your chenille stems just yet because you're also got your ribbon to put on, and then some people may put other things, you know, especially on some of the Christmas wreaths, they may put little ornaments or something like that, but or pine cones in the fall. But anyway, it's not time to trim those. Most of the time you can sort of bury them or you can trim them off, but right now we still need them on there. So that is the first 12-inch gathered piece that I put on. So I'm going to finish and go all the way around on the outside. And like I said, you can, if you want, go to the inside, but I have such a large bee that I'm putting on there that it just covers all that ribbon anyway. So if I don't need it, now if I needed it for the support for the center, I may have went ahead and done that, but not going to do that. And as well as the ribbon, just going to do the ribbon on the outer ones also. But you will see there at the end, just below the bee, when I attach it, it looks like a little open spot. I will add one more set of the ribbon there just to fill in that and give it that little added fluff. With my ribbon, I have 3 different ribbons. I have the bee ribbon, I have the yellow with the black polka dot ribbon, and then I have a burlap with the white polka dot ribbon. But each ribbon here, I think I've started out with a 12-inch, 10-inch, and 8-inch, and they're all 3 cut different sizes. And then I want to make sure that I'm dovetailing all of the ends just to give it that look. And then I'm going to take a set of 3, and I'm going to gather it and put it on each chenille stem on the outside of the wreath. I'm not going to do the inside. You can if you want to. If you have a smaller centerpiece, I would recommend going ahead doing all of them, including the 4 in the center. But you can see this is the back. Now, I don't have to cover it or anything because mine is on a solid door. And if it was going to be on a glass storm door, I would want to sort of make sure that all of those chenille stems were either yellow or black and something color coded. But you know, that's up to you. You're the only one that sees it on the back. So now I'm sorting, after dovetailing all of my ribbon, I'm sorting them out, and I'm going to take one of each. And I'm just going to gather them, pinch them together, gather them, and put one on each of the outside chenille stems. And then I'm going to fluff it as I go, pulling the ribbons sort of opposite of each other. And with these ribbons, they are wire, so they're easy to shape. And you can shape it as you go, or you can shape it when you get them all done. After shaping the ribbons, whether you do it as you go or when you get them all done, you can go in and trim the chenille stems, or you can roll them up and sort of hide them, whichever one you like to do. And I'll trim a couple of them off, and a couple of them are short because I'm not going to add anything else on top of the ribbon. So therefore, I'll just go ahead and take care of those chenille stems as I go. Now, after I have all of the ribbon sets added to the chenille stems and the chenille stems trimmed, it's time to add the bee. And with this little metal bee, it has a little, I guess like a little sawtooth metal hook on the top of it for like hanging it on the wall. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use some floral wire that I have on hand. And, you know, if you wanted to, you could glue it on, but I feel like it would really weigh down that ribbon. You could run something on the back that would give it a little bit more support, but I'm just going to go ahead and there it is. I'm just going to go ahead and use my floral wire and sort of run it through that little sawtooth hook, and then going to take that and run it through the ribbon and connect that floral wire onto the wreath wire in the back, and it will just sort of hang on there and not put a whole lot of pressure. After I put the bee on, I realized that there was a little empty spot just below, so I made an extra set of ribbon, the 3 ribbon, and filled in that little void spot just under the bee, and here it is. It's all ready for my door. I can't wait to put my front porch together and show everything to you guys. I'm going to have to divide the video up. It will be way too long for decorating the porch and making these DIYs. So guys, I appreciate that you're here.